Okay. So let's move on to this. So let's play a little game, Dalton. What are we thinking, right? Because we're now at the point where, it's very early to tell where teams are going to end up, right? But we both kind of had a preconceived notion, especially about these two teams. You're wearing one of their caps right now. The Pirates are off to a great start, and the Kansas City Royals are off to a great start. Right now, the Pirates are 11-5 to start the year. Kansas City is 10-6 to start the year. These are two teams that are on the younger side, have a little bit more upside than some of the older teams in the league, obviously, but are getting off to, I think, better starts than most people expected. So the question I'm going to pose is this. Who do you think at this point in the year, again, it's a very early sample size, who do you think is a better chance of being legit between the Pirates and the Royals?
Oh, it's Kansas City for me.
Yeah.
Kansas City, I mean, now I will say both these teams made legitimate additions in the offseason, and I commend them for it.
Sure.
These are two teams that seem to be taking a step toward trying to win.
Definitely.
But the depth of talent right now at the major league level for Kansas City is greater. I think I said on our preseason previews for the Central that I thought Kansas City has a little bit of Cincinnati Reds to them this year. I don't think they are a team that's going to actually contend for a playoff spot, but I think they're a team that I would not be shocked to see them cover with flirt with 500. This pitching staff's pretty good. Cole Reagan's is nasty. The bullpen actually has a little bit of bite to it. Bobby Witt Jr. is quietly one of the best players in baseball. It's not a bad team, man. Vinny Pasquantino being back and hitting the way he's been hitting is fun to watch. This is actually a pretty good roster. It's not great. It's not playoff quality, but this is not a bottom feeder anymore. And I think that's here to stay. Pittsburgh, look, I just don't quite see it yet. I think they're getting better. It's nice to see them start to take a step, but that rotation's awful. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
The rotation's awful, and there is not the depth of talent. Michael A. Taylor's had a great start. Easy guy to root for. That's been cool, right?
Golden sombrero the other night for him.
Well, that notwithstanding. But there's just the Pirates, I think, are a year further away than Kansas City. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I here's the thing. I was really kind of hoping for disagreement here, but I think I agree with you. I think Kansas City is, first of all, I think their path forward is easier. I just do, right? The AL Central is a way worse division than the NL. And let's be clear. The NL Central is not great, but those are at least teams that have shown progress forward, right? Yeah. The Cubs have made progress. Cincinnati has made progress. For some reason, the Brewers are still good. The Brewers are turning into the Rays. They find ways to be good even without anybody. So I think I'm going to hold my stock right now in the Pirates. But let's go back to the Royals for a second. I feel like we're kind of waiting for Salvador Perez to decline with the bat, and he just seemingly is not. He's just not.
He's only 33. I mean, I get he's a catcher, but man, he's
yeah.
He's not as old as we imagine him to be. I'll say that.
Doesn't he just? He just seems older, doesn't he? It seems like he's been around the league for a decade, for 5 decades.
Yeah, well, because he has been around the league for a legitimate decade. He came up and was their starting catcher early. I mean, when they were in those World Series, he was. We're talking 2014, a decade ago. I mean,
yeah.
He was a guy for them then. So he has been around a long time, but he's not as old as we think.
Yeah, no, really not. I mean, but you're right. You pretty much touched on all of it. I mean, the rotation has done a very good job keeping them in games. Obviously, Michael Walker has been fairly good. Cole Reagan's obviously is a stud. They've done a really nice job keeping them in games with that rotation. But they're hitting well too. I mean, Bobby Witt Jr., like you said, I think we kind of expected him to take a leap, but I mean, to this extent, I didn't expect, right? Like Bobby Witt Jr. is, I mean, he's by the end of the year. I mean, are we talking about I don't know, best shortstop in the game potentially by the end of the year?
I mean, I think I'll put it this way, Corey Seager's a pretty big roadblock for that.
Yeah.
But he's a special player, man.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be a star of this game for a long time. I hope he can stay healthy because there's no and it's funny because we knew this about him when he was getting called up, right? It's just he plays in Kansas City. It's like people always say, and I know this will piss you off, but it's like if Derek Jeter spent his whole career in Kansas City, there's a little bit of that to it where it's like, no, this guy, if he were in a big market, would be getting like the attention, but he's in Kansas City.
Yeah. That's not the first time I heard that. Was that if Jeter played in Kansas City, would we really? Okay.